We are connecting, streaming on YouTube. All right. Recording began. All right. So, shalom, everyone, and welcome once again to Just a Word. This is Kazak Aliyahu, and I'm here with George and Amikai, and we will be looking today into another. Are going to go into prophecy today because today we are going to give more insights into what is happening in the world, what is coming on the world, and how to prepare for what is on the world. This today should wake up a whole lot of people. This prophecy in the book of Isaiah, the Sieve of Vanity, looking into it has brought such great insights and understandings of why the Most High is doing certain things, why he's calling us, why we have been teaching certain things and have been led to speak on certain things. And we are going to go, there's a whole lot to go through. We're going to see how quickly we can do it. So we might be going a little fast today because we have load shedding in a certain time and we want to finish before load shedding. All right, so let's lay a foundation. We'll be looking primarily into Isaiah 28, Isaiah 29, and Isaiah 30. So let's lay a foundation from the beginning of Isaiah 28, and we go to the book of Isaiah chapter 28, verse 1. Go ahead, please.
Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose splendorous beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine.
All right, so if we were to go look into this, it would really take a whole lot of looking into to go into the depths of even this very one sentence. A lot of figurative language that is being used, but let's look at the drunkards. We're going to focus on the drunkards, the word drunkard, and of course the drunkards here is not dealing with literal drunkards. It's going to deal with something else. We're going to look into the drunkenness a little bit more. Verse 2.
Behold, Yahuwah has a mighty and strong one, which is as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand.
All right. Go, continue.
The crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim shall be trodden under feet, and the splendorous beauty, which is on the head of the fat valley, shall be a fading flower, and as the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he has looked upon it seeth, while it is yet in his hand, he eateth it up.
All right, so verse 4, for example, figurative language about the fat valley being the house of Israel will be a fading flower when the Most High sends those who are to come and attack his people, when he has given up his people to these nations. Now, a righteous remnant shall remain. So even though you have the crown, the drunkards of Ephraim, the Most High always leaves a righteous remnant. Isaiah 10, verse 22.
For though thy people Yasharal be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness.
A remnant of them shall return. So there will be always a remnant remaining of the house of Israel. Shall overflow with righteousness. Verse 5.
Isaiah 28,
Verse 5.
In that day shall Yahuwah of hosts be for a crown of splendor, and for a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people.
There we go with the remnant, unto the residue of his people. So the drunkards of Ephraim will be destroyed, but the remnant of his people will be honored. Verse 6.
And for a ruach of judgment to him that sitteth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate.
All right, so those who are his judges, and for those who turn the battle to the gate, these are those who defend the word of Yahuwah. It shall be a crown of splendor and for a diadem of beauty. Now, we just spoke about the drunkards of Ephraim. The Most High uses the term drunkard in the scriptures. Let's look at it. The drunkenness of Babylon. The drunkenness of Babylon ensures Yasharal and the rest of the world remains drunken today. So Babylon is used to keep the world drunken. Now, whenever the people of the Most High or the world transgress against the Most High, he gives them over to drunkenness. He gives them over to sin, to the deception of sin, and the deception of a system that will lead them astray and cause them to err and cause them not to be able to turn to him. So he's not always there happily waiting and begging people, as some people like to allude. He is there deliberately causing people not to return to him. Isaiah 28 verses 7 to 8. Hold on, please. Isaiah 28. Go ahead.
But they also have erred through wine and through strong drink, are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment.
So the wine, it's not literal wine. Yes? It's a wine from the system, from sin. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. So just like a drunkard, they will err in vision and they will stumble in judgment. Verse 8.
For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean.
So this is why they are drunk. All tables are full of vomit and filthiness. All tables are in idolatry, in disobedience, in rebellion against the Most High. And because of that, the Most High makes them drunken. Jeremiah 13, 12 to 14. This is going to come to an interesting climax. Verse 12.
Therefore thou shalt speak unto them this word. Thus says Yahuwah, Eluah of Yasharal, every bottle shall be filled with wine. And they shall say unto thee, do we not certainly know that every bottle shall be filled with wine?
All right, so the Most High is saying every bottle shall be filled with wine. Everybody said, well, we know that every bottle shall be filled with wine. But that's not what the Most High means. It's not literal. Verse 13.
Then shalt thou say unto them, thus says Yahuwah, behold, I will fill all the inhabitants of this land, even the kings that sit upon David's throne, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness.
With drunkenness. All of his people he will fill with drunkenness. And verse 14.
And I will dash them one against another, even the fathers and their sons together, says Yahuwah. I will not pity, nor spare, nor have mercy, but destroy them.
But destroy them. Now what did the Most High give us to be drunken? Look at this verse 14. I will dash them one against another. Even the fathers and the son together, saith Yahuwah. I will not pity, nor spare, nor have mercy, but destroy them. That is why wherever his people are, we kill one another. It's a drunkenness that he has placed us in. And the drunkenness is so that he will not pity, nor spare, nor have mercy, but destroy them. And where did we hear of this drunkenness? Jeremiah 51 verse 7. Jeremiah 51, verse 7.
Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
So this drunkenness that he has placed on this earth, he said he will not spare. But he told us how to get out of the drunkenness. Verse 6. Jeremiah 51.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
So Babylon is what he uses to keep the earth drunken, to keep his people drunken and to keep the earth drunken. And he is telling you here, he is telling you in Jeremiah 13 that he will not spare, because the drunkenness is there to destroy you. But he says, come out of her, my people. In other words, he's giving us a chance in the end times, those of us in the end, to come out of this drunkenness so that we can be spared. So he causes the nations, where am I? He causes the nations to err through drunkenness. If we follow them, we too will be led to error. So we just read that Babylon is a golden cup to make the earth mad. So the earth is drunken, therefore the earth is mad. If we follow the earth, we too will be in drunkenness and we too will be mad. But he gives us a chance when he says, come out of her, my people. Job 12, 23 to 25. And George, you are so sharp. Hold on. Job 13, I said?
12.
Verse 13.
Verse 23 to 25.
All right, go ahead.
He increaseth the nations, and destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations, and straighteneth them again. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man.
All right. This is why he tells us to flee out of Babylon. This drunkenness. So the Most High increases the nations and destroys them whenever he sees he wants to use them. He increases them and he destroys them. Look at Japan. 1948. They dropped 2 huge bombs on Japan. I think it's Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They dropped 2 bombs and Japan surrendered. Look at Japan today. One of the most powerful nations in the world because the Most High is using them to do his will. Okay? He increaseth the nations and destroyeth them. He enlarges the nations and straighteneth them again. He taketh away the heart of the chief people of the earth. So these leaders who are in the world, now they are heartless, and cause them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. Yesterday I was watching a video on France and what it did over there in the west coast of Africa with the colonies there. And it was so grievous to listen to what these wicked Edomites have done to the people. Yes? He takes away their hearts, makes them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They are there seeking after their riches, not knowing that they are groping in the dark without light and staggering like a drunken man. And this is what we do in Babylon. When we were in Babylon, we were so dumb. The things that we understand now, we never understood then. And we never understood that we were actually groping in the dark, thinking that we were seeing. But when we come out of her, then the Most High opens up our hearts to and our minds to so many things. All right? Isaiah 19, 12 to 15. Isaiah 19, 12 to 15. Go ahead.
Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Yahuwah of hosts has purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof.
So this is showing you how the Most High deals with the nations. One nation become fools, the other nation deceived, then they go about and they seduce another nation. So it's deception, fools, and these are the chief nations of the earth. And why is that? Verse 14.
Yahuwah hath mingled a perverse ruach or spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
This is how the Most High works. This is why when you see the nations today and they're coming with all sorts of foolishness, you wonder why. How can people actually come up with these things? And then the people who believe it, you say, then how can people believe these things? When they came up with that CV and that thing that you put in your arm, after a while, understanding it, I'm saying, then how can these people be deceived by this? It's so plain. But what does it say? Yahuwah hath mingled a perverse ruach. He has given them a ruach to make them drunken and to make them mad. And if we stay there, we are going to be polluted. That is why it says in Revelation 18, Babylon has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul ruach and the cage of every unclean bird. Why? It's the Most High does allow the ruach, the unclean ruach, to just rule and deceive the people. Continue, verse 15.
Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
So they're going to be idiots, thinking that they are wise. Yeah? The other day, I have to say this. The other day I saw a thing. India has landed a rover on the moon. Man, I laughed. And I said, who in this world now at this time, in this age of enlightenment and awakening, who is going to believe that India actually landed something on the moon? Who is going to believe that? And so they put a post on Facebook. And when they put the post on Facebook, I said, let me see how many people have realized this foolishness. If you ever see the congratulations, and I'm thinking of hundreds of responses. Congratulations to India. Congratulations. I said, what? These people are so foolish. Every now and again, you see someone, if you believe that they landed something on India, then, and you see some people laughing and some people making jokes, and say, people, wake up. How can you be so foolish? How can you let them be deceiving you like this? Some people are saying that.
I think the snake charmer was sitting over one of the craters waiting for the snake to come out.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, they sit over a basket, don't they?
Oh, the Indian. Yes. Still deceived. Why? The drunkenness. Drunken with the wine of Babylon, because Babylon, and then there was someone who made a comment and says, are there those footsteps on the road that I see behind? When you look behind, you can see winding road, but it is not a road that is paved, it is like a track.
And a tuck shop.
Huh?
And a tuck shop in the distance.
Dumela, tuck shop.
That's the one.
I'm telling you, these people. Hey. I know, out on the front.
Somebody pull the curtain across the screen, the backdrop.
Yeah, and it really looked like a track. And it's I said if I pull up the picture and look, you could see the footsteps. These people are so deceptive. This is drunkenness of Babylon, and it's the Most High has mingled a perverse ruach in the midst thereof to deceive them. So the cup of Yahuwah's wrath. He causes the nations to err through drunkenness. Jeremiah 25, verses 15 to 38. Hold on, George. Jeremiah 25, verse 15. So hear this now. So the Most High had said earlier, the drunkards of Ephraim, he made his people drunk. But guess what? After a time, he's going to take away the drunkenness from his people and place the drunkenness upon all the nations of the earth. And this drunkenness is going to be so perverse it is to destroy. When he was ready to destroy the nations, that drunkenness that they have is going to be multiplied immensely. Jeremiah 25, verse 15.
For thus says Yahuwah, Eluah of Yasharal, unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
Verse 16.
And they shall drink and be moved and be mad, because of the sword that I will send among them.
All right. So when it's time for the nations to drink of this wine, it's going to be sword, it's going to be famine, it's going to be all sorts of madness that is upon them. Continue.
Then took I the cup at Yahuwah's hand, and made all the nations to drink, unto whom Yahuwah had sent me.
Notice the first one that he gave to drink of this cup. Continue.
To wit, Jerusalem, and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, and hissing, and a curse, as it is this day.
So judgment begins with his people. He starts with his people. Continue.
Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azar, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod.
All right, the kings of the land of Uz. These are the kings of Edom, dwelleth in the land of Uz. And the kings of the land of the Philistines, these are the Hamites, the sons of Ham, Philistine, sons of Canaan or Canaan, Philistines, Ashkelon, Azar, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod. 21.
Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan and Timar, and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners.
Dedan, Timar, and Buz, these are Edoms as well. Verse 24.
And all of the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes.
All right, these are the Iranian, the Persians today. Continue.
And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and
all the kingdoms of the world. So the world is drunken. Continue.
Which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Sheshach shall drink after them.
What is this king of Sheshach? Shall drink after them. Sheshach is a name, you know, like how the Most High calls Yasharal Jeshurun or Yasharon. Sheshach is another name for Babylon. So Babylon shall drink after them. What is the Most High saying? That in the end time, the last to crumble will be Babylon. Yeah. It's because the king of Babylon, why is it the last to get this cup? Because Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand. So Yahuwah uses Babylon to make all the world drunken. Then when the time is come, it's Babylon who last will get hit. Because Babylon has been his tool. So when his time is up and he's done with the tool, then he'll destroy Babylon. Continue.
Therefore thou shalt say unto them, Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, the Eluah of Yasharal, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you.
This is the second seal, Revelation 6, verse about 3. The red horse, the war, the sword. Verse 28.
And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, ye shall certainly drink.
That means they can't escape it. Have to drink. Continue.
For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should ye be utterly unpunished. Ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, says Yahuwah Sabaoth.
World War. Third World War. Continue.
Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, Yahuwah shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout, and they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise shall come, even to the ends of the earth. For Yahuwah hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword.
All right, so this is the sieve of vanity. He's going to divide the world according to one currency, vanity. Continue.
Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. And the slain of Yahuwah shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground.
And that is because there's going to be so many of them, and so many people remaining. So few people rather remaining. So many dead, and so few remaining. No one will even bother to gather the dead. That's how great the slaughter of Yahuwah will be. But very importantly and very interestingly, the Most High points out now and turns the focus on the false prophets and false teachers, the shepherds. Verse 34.
Howl, ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel.
Woe unto those of us who are misleading his people. Continue.
And the shepherds shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. And the voice of the cry of the shepherds, and an howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard, for Yahuwah hath spoiled their pasture.
He had spoiled their pasture. So those people who depend on people for money, those false teachers, the Most High is going to spoil the pasture. Now, how do you spoil the pasture of these Christian preachers? Money, 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 money. The sieve of vanity this is. He's going to take away the money. And they are going to howl. Because their whole lives depends on this. Verse 37.
And the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of Yahuwah. He hath forsaken his covert as the lion. For their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor, and because of his fierce anger.
Of his fierce anger. Okay. But the good thing, children of Israel, he promised to take his people out of their drunkenness. He promised to take his people out of their drunkenness. The book of Isaiah chapter 51, and let's go to verse 17. He promised to take his people out of their drunkenness. Go ahead.
Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of Yahuwah the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out.
Remember, we just saw it in Jeremiah 25, the cup of trembling, the drinking of the cup, and it began at Jerusalem. Yeah, verse 18.
There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee?
All right. So none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought up, because all the tribes were led astray. So destruction and famine is coming for our people. Verse 20.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of Yahuwah, the rebuke of thy allure. Therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken,
But
not with wine. Thus says thy allure, and thy. Thus says thy Yahuwah, and thy allure, that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, Bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
So what do we have here? We have drunk at the cup of Babylon for so long. The Most High is telling you, all right, the time is up. Stop drinking of the cup. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. And all those people who remain in Babylon, they will surely drink it. You shall no more drink it again. But they who remain in this drunkenness, they shall surely drink it. So those who have afflicted us, but I will put it into the hand of them which afflict thee, which has said to thy soul, Bow down that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body over as the ground and as the street to them that went over. These are the children of Edom for us over there in the west. They have brought us over as slaves, and we strive to do everything we can in order to fit into their system, in order to help them in their system. And they actually continue to afflict our people. They have built up their nations, their countries off our free labor, and yet still they continue to hate and to despise us. Okay? It will be brought into their hands. So I don't know how our people still want to remain in the midst of these people and their system when the Most High tells us that he will take it out of our hand and put it into their hands. Okay? So this is the rest that the Most High is talking about. He tells us to flee out of Babylon so that he can give us rest from all our troubles, to gather ourselves together so that we can be in his rest. So he promises a reward for the obedient who accept his rest, and this also is found in the book of Isaiah chapter 28. So, but let's go first to Psalms 25:14.
The secret of Yahuwah is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant.
So those who fear him and obey his words, these are those who he will show his covenant, who he will reward. But what about those who disobey? We're going to see later. So let's look at what he gives in the end time for those who obey. Isaiah 28 verses 9 to 10.
Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
So the Most High rewards those who obey him, who accept his rest, by giving them his word so that they can understand it. These are they who are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So they will be able to use his word to get knowledge and understanding. But those who refuse his rest will be rejected. Let's go. Isaiah 30 verses 8 to 17. Those who refuse his rest, the same word that they refuse will actually snare them. Isaiah 30, verses 18,
8 to 17.
verse 8 to 17. Hold on, please. Do we accept the Most High's word? Read, please.
Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahuwah.
A rebellious people, children that will not hear the law of Yahuwah. These are children who refuse his rest. Verse 10.
Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
So these people actually do not want to hear the truth of the Most High. They don't care whether it's wrong. What they want to hear is what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear something that satisfies their way of thinking and their way of life. Verse 11.
Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Kadosh one of Yasharal to cease from before us.
All right. We don't want to hear Yahuwah. We want to hear God or Jesus. Continue.
Wherefore thus says the set apart one of Yasharal, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit.
All right, so the Most High is going to be angry with his people who refuse his rest. And of course, this is because his people made a covenant with him through Moses, and that covenant is forever. So the Most High is forever wrestling with that covenant that he made through the descendants of Jacob, which is to fulfill the covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that is why he continues to even bother with us. It's not because of our goodness of anything that we have done. It is because of the covenant with our forefathers that he made. Continue.
For thus says Yahuwah Eluah, the Kadosh one of Yasharal, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not.
All right. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. This word returning here is very important, because we had spoken about returning, that we have to turn back, return to the Most High. We have to go back to the Most High, and in doing so, we have to and cannot forget the sins of our fathers. We have to know our fathers' sins and have them consciously in our hearts so that we do not repeat them. In other words, we cannot forget who we are. We cannot throw out who we are. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. Verse 16.
But ye said, no, for we will flee upon horses. Therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon the swift. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift.
All right, so this is what happened to our fathers when the Most High called to them and they decided that some of them even would go back down into Egypt. Verse 17.
1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. At the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on an hill.
Okay. You'll be left as a beacon on the top of the mountain and ensign on the hill. So if we refuse the Most High's rest, there is nothing that is there is nothing that is good that is going to come to us. Isaiah 28:11-13 now. Let us see what happens when we refuse his rest. Verse 11.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
So in verse 9-10, it tells you that those who receive knowledge are the obedient, who will get understanding through precept upon precept. Okay? Now, the same precept upon precept that can give us understanding is what the Most High uses to destroy us. Because, remember, He makes the earth drunken. He can do the same for us. He can either give us the understanding or the same word, He can allow our minds to be so corrupted that we be swept away in deception. So when we're handling the Most High's word, the most important thing, and a lot of people take the Most High's word as knowledge, just knowledge to know His word, and our lifestyle does not match up. Our lifestyle does not match up to the word. But guess what? We get knowledge and we get understanding. But guess what? There is going to be an error in there somewhere. Because the Most High is not going to give us His truth, perfect truth, while we are in disobedience. Have to be obedient for Him to give you the whole truth. Okay? So there'll be a lot of teachers, I'm telling you about this teaching thing. There'll be a lot of teachers in this world. They will say some things that are good and say, hey, this man knows what he's saying and everything. But if there is his life is not walking perfectly with the Most High, something is going to be wrong further down. And let's go. Verse 11.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
So because the people refuse the rest, He is going to make them be spoken to with stammering lips, with the lips of foreigners and a foreign language. Okay, and that is what we are in today. Foreign language. English is not our language. We were taken away and we were given this false language and given the Bible, the word, in this false language. And we have to try to decipher the Bible through this language. But the only way the Most High gives us in verse 9 to 10, the tools that we need, the precept must be upon precept. So you match up. And this is how we teach. And this is how we are doing here. Matching up different verses to get what the Most High is saying. Verse 12.
To whom he said, This is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear.
So if we are in any form of disobedience before the Most High, if we are not listening, doing our own thing, having our own ways, setting up our own doctrines, trying to find our own, use the word as our, what should I say, as a business, try to use the word for our own gain, then this is what the Most High will do. Verse 13.
But the word of Yahuwah was unto them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward, and be broken and snared and taken.
Yeah. And so guess what? He doesn't stop there. Because we know that there is a Messiah. So He gives us the word that can corrupt us, but He also gives us a Messiah. That is also a stumbling block. So it's not one stumbling block in our way. It's not only the written word, it is the word that was made flesh. That is also going to be a stumbling stone. Verse 14. Hold on. Let me see if that's where we are. Yeah, verse 14.
Wherefore hear the word of Yahuwah, ye scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Because ye have said, We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
All right, so this today is so common today. Our brothers and sisters who are in that false religion, they will tell you that when whatever is happening on this earth, nothing will happen to us. We will be okay. The Most High is not going to allow anything to happen to us. Because you have made a covenant with death, that means death is not going to touch you, and are at agreement with hell. We're not going to die. When the overflowing scourge shall come, Let's see what's going to happen. Verse 16.
Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Eluah, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste.
Mm-hmm.
Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place.
All right, so this stumbling stone, Kepha confirmed it in 1 Peter 2, verse 6, verse 5.
Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a set apart priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Eluah by Yahushua HaMashiach.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Mm-hmm.
Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offence, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
So this is Yahushua Mashiach, the stone of stumbling and the rock of offense. He will also be a divider to those of us who are disobedient. So those who are not truly in Yahusha will be swept away. Those who are not truly in the stumbling stone, who are not on the right side of the stumbling stone, will be swept away. Isaiah 28 verse 18.
And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through. Then ye shall be trodden down by it.
In other words, when the time of trouble comes upon the earth, if Hamashiach is a stumbling stone to you, then you will be trodden down by whatever is going to come upon this earth. Continue.
From the time that it goeth forth, it shall take you. For morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report.
Mm-hmm.
For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it.
And this is what the Mosiah is going to do in the end. 21.
For Yahuwah shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, he shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act.
So he's going to do a strange act upon this earth. Verse 22.
Now therefore be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong. For I have heard from Yahuwah Eluah of hosts a consumption, even determined upon the whole earth.
A consumption determined upon the whole earth. A consumption upon the whole entire earth. And we saw this happening, the consumption upon the earth, the pandemic upon the whole earth, and guess what? It's coming back. Again, they are reviving it for now the second phase of their plan, but let's not digress because we're going to look at that later as well. So the Most High will open the eyes and ears of his people. He will open the eyes and the ears of his people around this time. This is why this is an awakening people. He's awakening his people. Isaiah 29 verses 13 to 19, I think. Isaiah 29. So with all this, he has not forgotten his people. Read, please.
Wherefore Yahuwah said, forasmuch as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honour me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
These are the religious people. People who don't truly fear nor follow Yahuwah, but just go through rituals, just go through um, ritualistic practices to show that they are worshiping the Most High. Verse 14.
Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid.
Mm-hmm.
Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahuwah, and their works are in the dark, and they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us?
Mm-hmm.
Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest?
Mm-hmm.
And in that day shall the deaf hear
Hear
the
the
words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness.
The meek.
The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahuwah, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the set apart one of Yasharal.
All right, so look at the people here. The deaf shall hear the words of the book. What is the significance of the deaf? Those who did not hear. If you try to speak to someone who is of, where is it? Verse, these people that draw near to me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. If you try to speak to religious people about the ways of the Most High, it is the hardest thing to do. Hardest thing. Try ministering to a hardcore Christian. Mission impossible. But look who the Most High is going to wake up. The deaf. Those who were not even hearing anything. The blind. Those who don't believe they know anything. If I'm blind, it means I cannot see. And look, the meek. So if you're meek, you're deaf and you're blind, you're going to be just empty and open. The poor. These people who don't depend on the religion for anything are not successful in this world. These are who are going to turn to the Most High and hear the words of the Most High. Most definitely. So that is why the poor and the meek and the humble and the blind, they are exploited in religion. Because they will listen. Where were we? All right. Yes, as we continue, the Most High will open the eyes of his people. Those who are wicked, scornful, or self-righteous will be cut off. But those who are humble, poor, deaf, blind will listen and hear the words of the Most High. Isaiah 29 verse 20.
For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off.
Hold on there. Those that do what?
Watch for iniquity.
You know what this is? You know what this watch for iniquity is? That's why we said, owe no man anything but to love one another. This is the spirit of the Pharisees that look to people to try to find faults with them and to make them guilty before the Most High. Now, in our walk with the Most High, what we should be striving to do is to help each other to get better before the Most High. But sadly, what we actually do is try to actually convict people before the Most High to kind of feel good within ourselves. We are not doing so badly. Yes? Look what it says. Verse 21 now.
That make a man an offender for a word,
Mm.
and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and turn aside the just for a thing of naught.
You see? These are the people who try to trip up people because they made an error. These are the same people that dealt with Hamashiach. They were just behind Hamashiach, it seems, tracking him, waiting, just waiting to see him make a little error. Yeah. And he made a little error and said, hey, I got you. This is who we're talking about. We cannot be like these people. And it says, lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. So those people who are actually doing the correction, they're just waiting on you to say, all right, you're always correcting people. Aha! Got you. You did this and this was wrong. This is what it's talking about. And turn aside the just for a thing of naught. So someone is walking in righteousness, and then a little simple thing, they turn that person away. Carol, why are you looking at me? You're seeing me on the television. You're seeing me on the screen. Yeah. You're wondering why I'm up there, huh? Anyway, verse 22.
Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale.
Mm-hmm.
But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the set apart one of Jacob, and shall fear Yahuwah of Yasharel.
All right. When he seeth his children, the work of mine hands. So we are actually looking on persons, targeting their imperfections, not knowing that the Most High is doing a work in them. It's not us who are doing the work, or we are to look and condemn the people. The Most High calls them the work of mine hands, who will sanctify his name. Eventually, they will sanctify his name. Verse 24.
They also that erred in Ruach shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine.
So he's going to turn his people around. So for us, we have to be patient with his people. We see imperfections, we see errors. Hey, it's not for us to go and take it up on ourselves. It's for us to have mercy, because the Most High is doing a work in all of us. Okay? He says, those that erred in Ruach shall come to understanding. So even those who we believe that they are lost, the Most High says, they will come to understanding. Don't worry about them. All right? And they that murmured, those people who are now miserable, they shall learn doctrine and come to their senses. All right? So, in the end, he will send for fishers and hunters to awaken his people. We soon come to the Sieve of Vanity. We're going to the process to show what we are in. We have to show ourselves in it so that we get more understanding when we see ourselves in this picture. Jeremiah 16, verses 14 to 19. Jeremiah 16, 14 to 19. Go ahead, please.
Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that it shall no more be said, Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Yasharal out of the land of Egypt.
And of course, this is significant again, because many people are sitting in Babylon, thinking they are in Egypt, awaiting for an Egyptian deliverance, when it is a Babylonian deliverance when you actually deliver yourself. Deliver thyself. What is it? Zechariah 2. Let me just jump there quickly. Zechariah 2, is it a verse 6 and 7? Let me see if I remember. Yeah. Zechariah 2, verses 6 and 7.
Ho, ho, come forth.
Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, says Yahuwah. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, says Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
Mm-hmm. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. We are in Babylonian captivity, where we are to deliver ourselves. Let's jump back to Jeremiah 16, verse 15.
But Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Yasharal from the land of the north,
Babylon,
and from all the lands whither he hath driven them, and will bring them again into their land, that I gave unto their fathers.
He will bring us again through the Ruach, which will guide us into all truth, because we will have to deliver ourselves, not sit and wait in Babylon. Verse 16.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, says Yahuwah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks.
We are in hunting and fishing season. Fishing, throwing out our lines to see who we can get, and that is the internet. We go, we speak the word, and people come to us and say, oh, I just came upon your channel. Fishing. You don't know exactly who you're going to. Hunting is when you know your prey and you target someone and you go after them. This is the season that we are in. They shall hunt them from every mountain, every nation, and every hill, every country, there where they are. And out of the holes of the rocks, even where they are hiding, they will be hunted. Verse 17.
For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes.
But first,
And first, I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things.
continue.
O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
All right, so this is what is happening today. The truth of the scripture that is being presented by our brothers and sisters worldwide in this awakening, many people now have to be saying, whoa, we inherited lies. Because we're taught about JC and God and all Christianity, and this is the way and the rapture and all sorts of foolishness. And now we are realizing they were all lies. Yes, we are in this season. And at the same time, he's not done. He will send fishers, but he will also send what? He will also send them teachers to teach them. This is what's happening worldwide. You see, even our brothers on the road, Hebrew Israelites on the road, you have never in our history seen so much road preaching like we are seeing today. Okay? Waking up our people as to who they are. Isaiah 30, verse 18, he will send them teachers to lead them in the right path. And guess what? He might send you one teacher to awaken you as to a particular thing, and then lead you to another teacher to teach you another thing, and another one to teach you another thing. The Ruach will let you know when you have found the right teacher where you are to actually stop and feast and feed. Isaiah 30, verse 18.
And therefore will Yahuwah wait, that he may give favor unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For Yahuwah is a lure of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him.
Barak are all they that wait for him. So, Yahuwah will wait that he may have mercy upon you. What does it mean Yahuwah will wait? Yahuwah has a set time for doing everything. Our 400 captivity, Yahuwah waited and has waited until it is over. Now it is time for him to make his move. And by the way, we have a video that is scheduled to show tomorrow at 8 p.m. South Africa Standard Time. That would be 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And that is a prophecy of the Most High's end time setting up of his authority on this earth. Trouble is coming on this earth, and the Most High is going to plead with all flesh. Which we are speaking about today. What we are speaking about today It is a time for it, as we're going to see in that prophecy, that the time has come for the Most High to make his move. The leaders of the world are setting up their systems. We see the demic actually coming up again. I just saw a video today where it says Biden was announcing something, and the demic is on the rise. Mandates are there again. This is it. This second time they are going to be setting up their digital currency system, their New World Order prison system, trying to enslave the children of Israel again. This is the number 18, whereby the Most High says the captivity of the children of Israel are over, and Pharaoh is actually coming out again now to bring the children of Israel back into captivity through their needle puncturing system, their New World Order system. Okay? More money for that thing that goes in our bodies. So we know that that is out, because the whole entire their system works. The technology is in that liquid that goes in the body, and not everyone took it. So they are going to come with more demics in order to get everybody in this world to do it. And they are going to come harder this time. Don't think they're going to come nice and decent and be encouraging this time. They are going to be coming hard for the rest of the people, because they know that the people who did not take it were people who are stubborn. So to get those people to take it, they're not going to come nice, because they know those people will still refuse it. Okay? So Pharaoh is coming back again for the children of Israel to be held in captivity, to go back into captivity. Verse 19.
For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will give favor unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee.
So the people shall not dwell in the United States, in Jamaica, Belize, St. Kitts, Barbados, St. Lucia, Montserrat, England, France. His people shall dwell in Zion. So all those places where we are, those places are not our homes. We have to get that. What is coming upon this earth, destruction is going to come, and all that we had, everything that we had will be spoiled and will be destroyed. All the wealth that we built, everything will be destroyed. Are you going to look to your true home? That is the question. Or are you going to hold on to it? This is a sieve of vanity. All the vanity, all the vain things that we had is going to be destroyed. Will you give up on it before the destruction, so that the Most High will give you your home in Zion? Verse 20.
And though Yahuwah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
So the Most High is going to give you teachers to teach you. No, these teachers are not going to be like most of the Christian pastors. Most of the Christian pastors, you essentially can do what you want to do. Essentially, they will give you rules. They have some church rules and some things that you do. You essentially do what you want to do, but as long as you give me the money, give me the money. As long as you give me the money.
Hand over the goods.
Huh?
Hand over the goods.
As long as you give me the goods, I am good. But these teachers are going to tell you things that you don't want to hear. They're going to direct you in the way of Yahuwah. They're not gonna let you say, all right, do whatever you want to do. Verse 21.
And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. When ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left.
So the word is going to be behind you. That means they will be following you. They'll be watching what you are doing. And when you are going in the wrong direction, they say, that's not the way that you should go. These are the teachers that the Most High is going to give his people. This is the end times. And that is because, with all that we've said so far, judgment begins with his people. And we looked at that a few weeks ago, 1 Peter 4:17-18. Read it, please.
For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Allua, and it first began at us. What shall the end of them that obey not the good news of Allua? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the unholy and the sinner appear?
So judgment begins at Allua. When we were looking in Jeremiah 25, and he told you about this cup of fury that is in his hand, and he said, let the nations drink it. The first nation that he gave it to was Jerusalem and the cities of Judah. Okay? His people, judgment begins with his people. Ezekiel 18:30.
Therefore I will judge you, O house of Yasharal, every one according to his ways, says Yahuwah Allua. Repent and turn yourselves from all your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your ruin.
All right? So he will send people to teach his people so that they turn away from their iniquities and their transgressions. So a remnant shall return. Remember, we spoke about the consumption that he is going to bring. It says the consumption will make some of his people return to him. And we saw this in the CV19 saga. How many people turned to the Most High and were awakened when they saw what was happening on the earth, and there was some ruach that was in them that says, nah, something is wrong. There's more to this world. And especially when many people stop going to these churches and they had time to sit at home, then they had time to now search, and they came up with a lot of understanding. So the remnant will return. Isaiah 10, verses 20 to 27. Isaiah 10, verses 20 to 27. Go ahead, please.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Yasharal, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahuwah, the set apart one of Yasharal in truth.
All right. So, who knows the meaning of that word stay there? The remnant of Yasharal, and such as escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. These are the oppressors. Think about that. The word stay is the Hebrew word shawan, which means to support one's self. Yeah. So we're not going to be supporting ourselves with Babylon's system or upon the system of the oppressors. We are going to be supported by the Most High.
We'll be resting upon him.
In truth. And what does this bring to mind? Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. We will turn back to the Most High in Ruach and Amat. So in the end time, these people will no longer support themselves by their oppressors. That's why people will flee out of Babylon and leave the system of the oppressors. Verse 21.
The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty Allua.
They shall return unto Allua. And when you return unto Allua, there are so many meanings of that word shub. Call to mind, maybe it, but it says carry again back. This return is alluding to going back to the land as well, obeying his commandment to go back. It says go again back home. Go again back home. These are some of the many meanings. Restore, retrieve, cause to, make to, return. People, this is telling us that the remnant shall deliver themselves, flee out of Babylon, gather themselves together in the land. they shall return from their captivity. Verse 22.
For though thy people Yasharal be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness.
You see that? Though Israelites are so many worldwide, only a small amount shall return. Because the consumption decreed, the CV thingy, will overflow with righteousness. Because, verse 23,
For Yahuwah, Eluah of hosts, shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land.
in the midst of all the land, all the land there does not literally mean the literal land. It means among his people. Among his people. And guess what? The world also will be judged along with his people. In Jeremiah, he gave the cup of trembling. But he says, first to Jerusalem and Judah. Then it went into Egypt and Philistines and Edom and Moab and all the nations. Okay? Judgment begins with his people, but it is going to now go and transcend to the other nations. Isaiah 28 verses 16 to 22. We have to understand what is happening in this world, people, so that we are not deceived, so we know what time it is. When you hear us speaking, you know that we are not just speaking out of the side of our mouth. Isaiah 28 verse 16.
Therefore thus says Yahuwah Eluah, Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste.
That is Yahushua HaMashiach. And that is why we hear all our focus is on attaining unto the perfection, the image of Hamashiach. And which is why we tell people, anyone who is coming among us, we are not a place, an asylum seeking base. We are here for people who desire to walk after Hamashiach, for people who are seeking after perfection in Hamashiach. That's basically it. Because if we are doing anything else, we are going to fail. Anything else, it will just be pain and pain and pain. Because Hamashiach is the stumbling stone. And if you are not seeking after Hamashiach, truly seeking to be like him, then we will trip up on the cornerstone. Verse 17.
Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place.
Look at these words. Judgment and righteousness. These will be the building blocks for us. So if we are not seeking after the righteousness of Yahusha, we are going to be building in vain. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies. So if we are not seeking after Mashiach, then we're going to be exposed. It's going to show us clearly that we are not in the way of righteousness. And the waters shall overflow the hiding place. So everything will be revealed. Verse 18.
And your covenant with death shall be disannulled.
What is that covenant with death? That covenant when we feel that because we do certain things, then we are okay. All right? Without Hamashiach, it is a waste of time. So if we think that we can be following after a false Messiah, not following after the Messiah, and we are good, this is what it's talking about. Verse 18.
And your agreement with hell shall not stand, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through. Then ye shall be trodden down by it.
Isn't it strange, or wasn't it strange, in the CV saga that was going through? When it was time for them to present this liquid in the body that you put in the body, wasn't it strange how the vast majority of Christians were blinded? Wasn't it strange to you? Yes? It says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, ye shall be trodden down by it. And isn't it significant that the followers of Yahushua HaMashiach, those who followed Yahushua HaMashiach, they stoutly were determined that they are not going to take this thing. They knew instinctively that something was wrong with it. But the Christians could not. When the overflowing scourge passed through, they were trodden down by it. Verse 19.
From the time that it goeth forth, it shall take you. For morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report.
It was so surprising to see how many people, you would speak to people and they would say, yes, I'm not taking that thing. And then little after that, you can't see them. They have taken it. Yeah? A vexation to understand the report. Verse 20.
For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it.
Mm-hmm.
For Yahuwah shall rise up as in Mount Perazim. He shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act,
his strange act. His strange act. So whatever he's doing in the end, it will be something that is very strange, that is not common. And he will be wrought as in Gibeon. And this is speaking about in the end times, when all hell will break loose upon the earth. And verse 22.
Now therefore be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong. For I have heard from Yahuwah Eluah of hosts a consumption, even determined upon the whole earth.
So those mockers, the Most High is going to make it even harder for them if you are mocking. And he says a consumption upon the whole earth. In Isaiah 10:22, he told us about a consumption in the midst of the whole land. So this is what we're talking about. And this consumption that is upon the earth will be what he will use to sift the earth with the sieve of vanity. With the sieve of vanity. But his people, though, his people will be sifted before their restoration. This is the Most High. When it is time for the consumption is going to be on the whole earth. When it is time for sifting, no, when it's time for the consumption shall be on the whole earth, but it will begin with his people. When it is time for sifting, the sifting will be upon the whole earth, but he will also sift his people first. The judgment begins with the house of Eluah. Amos 9, verses 7 to 12. Amos 9, verses 7 to 12. And in the book of Amos, I think chapter 9 earlier, it told you about a famine of the word, or chapter 8. It told you about a famine of the word. We are going through the famine of the word at this time, as they are using artificial intelligence in order to manipulate and to control the words of the Most High. Who puts out what? We have people now on Facebook having to be building different channels, backup channels, because Facebook is so striking them down, striking them out, not wanting them to speak the truth. Sometimes there are certain words, the words that I would like to speak today, I cannot speak them. I have to be masking them. I can't even call the name of that thing that you put in your body. And all of those things. Famine of the word. But here in verse 7, it says,
Amos 9, verse 7. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Yasharal, says Yahuwah? Have not I brought up Yasharal out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Kir? Behold, the eyes of Yahuwah Eluah are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, says Yahuwah.
All right, and for those who don't understand this, sometimes we see this here, people think of it, oh, he thinks favorably of the Ethiopians. That's not what he's saying. It's a negative look on the Ethiopians. Yeah? The children of Israel are as the children of Ethiopians. Look what he said in the next verse. this sinful kingdom, and he will destroy it upon the face of the earth. So, like the Ethiopians are a sinful kingdom that they should get destruction, he's saying that his people are like the children of Ethiopia. So he will destroy it from the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, meaning there is a remnant, and as we say, there is always a remnant. Always. Verse 9.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Yasharal among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Continue.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
You see, we see that principle again. Those who have made a covenant with death and covenant with hell. Yeah? All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. These are the people who believe that they have the Most High locked. Because we do certain things, then we have him locked. These are the people who walk in unrighteousness, thinking that the Most High has them. But very importantly, the verse before. Sift the house of Yasharal among all nations. Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. So the least grain will not fall upon the earth, but the greatest grain will fall upon the earth, because this is the sieve of vanity. So those who are the least are who? Who are the least? The deaf, the blind, the meek, and the poor. These are the people who will hear the words of the Most High and turn to him. But the sinners, the religious people who think they have the Most High locked, the religious people, he says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Okay, so after that sieving now, after that sifting, I'm always confusing sieve and sift. After that sifting, guess what will happen? The Most High will restore Yasharal. The sifting of his people is right before the restoration of Yasharal. Read Amos 9 verse 11. The next verse, please.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, says Yahuwah that doeth this.
So this is it. Before we are restored, right in the end time, there's going to be a sifting of Israel. There's going to be a sifting of his people. And what is this sifting of his people? Sifting is taking place right now. Right now. Remember, it's the sieve of what? Vanity. And the Most High says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. And how many of us are willing and ready to flee? How many of us are willing to leave everything behind? Most of us are not. Because many people are there waiting on something to do with vanity, some material thing, before they leave. You have a set of people in this world, and investing in gold, investing in this, all sorts of investment, right? We actually, unfortunately, want to ensure that when all is said and done, we retain our wealth. What does it say in the book of Ecclesiastes, Amikai? Vanity. All is vanity. And what? Vexation of Ruach. Many people in this world trying to ensure that when they know something is happening, but trying to ensure that we stay without losing anything. But we're going to show you that it is the vanity that's going to be the dividing factor. Vanity is going to be what determines whether or not the Most High will accept us. The sieve of vanity, the sifting of the whole world. Isaiah 30, verses 26 to 28. Isaiah 30, hold on please, verses 26 to 28. Now, the people who are on the western side of the world, people who are over here, people who are entwined in Babylon, this is the age that we are in. We are at a decisive point in our lives. It is a time when we have to determine or decide whether or not we are going to give up all that we have built, all that we have worked for, and seek to serve the Most High and seek to follow the promises of the Most High. Because what does the word say about Emanah, about faith? Without faith, it is impossible to please Allah. So reach at a crossroads now where it is Emanah, it is faith that is going to determine our lives. Do we have enough faith to give up standing on the promises of the Most High, believing in the Most High for His promises? Or are we going to continue to believe in that which we have acquired and what we can see? Verse 28.
In Isaiah,
30.
we haven't read 26 yet.
All right, 26, sorry, go ahead.
Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days, in the day that Yahuwah bindeth up the breach of his people, and healeth the stroke of their wound.
All right, so, boy, you see that video, what was revealed in that video, so very much applicable to this. In the day that Yahuwah bindeth up the breach of his people, supernatural things are going to happen, and healeth the stroke of their wound. So let's see what else is going to happen around that time. Verse 27.
Behold, the name of Yahuwah cometh from far, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire.
Mm-hmm.
And his breath, as an overflowing stream, shall reach to the midst of the neck to
sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. And what's going to happen?
And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err.
Causing them to
err.
As I said before, during the CV thing, we saw this so prominently. It was obvious that these people were lying. It was obvious that they were deceiving the people and deceiving the world, and people could not see it. The Most High has put a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. That means there was nothing they could do about it, no matter how much you spoke to them. The Most High has left a ruach on them, mingled a ruach with them, caused them to err. And he's going to tell you why. Because it is the sieve of vanity. Those who are vain are going to be snared. Those who are vain are going to be snared. Those who are not willing to give up all are going to be snared. Isaiah 5, verses 18 to 19. Isaiah 5, verses 18 to 19. Read, please.
Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin, as it were, with a cart rope, that say, Let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the set apart one of Yasharal draw nigh and come, that we may know it.
So these are the people who draw iniquity with cords of vanity, which means they sit in vanity. Look at this carefully. You know what this is talking about. Look at the verse carefully, Amikai, and tell me. Mm. Hold it. Say it on the mic. It's number. Go ahead. Go. Go. All right. I don't know what's happening. It's not coming through. Oh, shots. China. Go now.
Even though they know the truth and know the word, they still sit in Babylon, still sit and say, we'll wait to see what's going to happen.
Thank you very much. Look at the verse carefully, people. These are those who sit in Babylon, awaiting an angel to come and deliver them. Read 18 and 19 again, George.
Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin, as it were, with a cart rope,
That say,
let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Kadesh one of Yasharal draw nigh and come, that we may know it.
you see it?
They want the Most High to do what he is doing, but they still sit in Babylon.
In vanity.
Yes, in vanity.
They refuse to give up their lives in this world, and they mock us. What does the word say? Be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong. For I have heard from Yahuwah Sabaoth a consumption even determined upon the whole world. So these mockers who are mocking us for fleeing out of the midst of Babylon, the Most High is going to make their lot harder than everyone else.
We know that they're holding back until they see it, and then they think they've got time to move.
Yes.
It's too late.
It's going to be too late. So they're mocking us. The Most High says your cords will be made strong for mocking. Isaiah 5, 18 to 19. And you know that I didn't notice it until I put up this a while ago. Just a while ago I realized that this is speaking about those people. Read it again, George. It's so nice. Read it again. Verse 19.
Isaiah 5, verse 19.
18 to 19.
18 to 19. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin, as it were, with a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the set apart one of Yasharal draw nigh and come, that we may know it.
Wow. Well, we could stop here for today. But let us continue. That is enough for today. For the people who are out there, very, very profound. Yahuwah is going to send an angel. We don't have to go anywhere. Yahuwah will come and get us. Confidently, they say this so confidently and so proudly, not knowing that the prophecy is actually against them. Wow. Anyway, this sieve of vanity, what will happen through this sieve of vanity? Vanity will consume the wicked. The humble of his people will not be snared. Isaiah 57, verses 12 to 21. Isaiah 57, verses 12 to 21. That's why the Most High has placed it in our heart to keep talking about flee Babylon. Flee Babylon. It's very, very critical. Continue.
I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee. When thou criest, let thy companies deliver thee, but the wind shall carry them all away.
Vanity shall take them.
But he that putteth his trust in me shall possess the land and shall inherit my set apart mountain.
Oh boy, again, here we go. We could stop here again. No. I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee. So if you sit there remaining in your so-called righteousness and do not move, look at it. When thou criest, let thy companies deliver thee. The wind shall carry them all away. Vanity shall take them. Vanity is going to sweep us away, those who are vain. But he that putteth his trust in me. Remember we looked at earlier, it says those who do what? Stay on Yahuwah. These are those who put their trust in him. They will no longer stay on him that smote him, So we will not stay on the oppressors, we will not depend on the oppressors, but we will put our trust in Yahuwah, we will trust in Yahuwah. It is those of us who shall possess the land and inherit Mount Zion. Oh, I love when the Most High speaks through his word. I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee. So all the righteousness that is in Babylon, it will not profit us. When thou criest, let thy companies deliver thee. That means when thou criest now is when you're in trouble now. When this overcoming scourge has taken over the world, and you start crying, thinking that the Most High will be delivering you. Boy, this doesn't sound good. It says the wind shall carry them away. What does that mean? The Most High is not going to hear. He's going to close his ears. Vanity shall take them away. But he that putteth his trust in me shall possess the land and shall inherit my set apart mountain. Wow. Continue.
And shall say, cast ye up, prepare the way, take up the stumbling block out of the way of my people. For thus says the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is set apart. I dwell in the high and set apart place with him also that is of a contrite and humble ruach, to revive the ruach of the humble and to revive the heart of the contrite ones.
Wow. So the humble ones are those who are going to hear him and be willing to give up everything to serve him. So the Most High is saying, these are the person that I dwell with. But those who are not, you are going to be calling to me. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to answer you. And remember, almost every week we come and we speak about flee out of the midst of Babylon, right? Almost every week we come and teaching us something to do with it. Here's what the Most High says now, verse 16.
For I will not contend forever, neither will I be always wroth, for the ruach should fail before me, and the souls which I have made.
So if he contends forever and he gets angry forever, then he will destroy us. So he will not contend forever. Verse 17.
For the iniquity of his covetousness was I wroth, and smote him. I hid me, and was wroth, and he went on frowardly in the way of his heart. I have seen his ways, and will heal him. I will lead him also, and restore comforts unto him, and to his mourners. I create the fruit of the lips. Peace, peace to him that is far off, and to him that is near, says Yahuwah, and I will heal him.
This is the remnant. He's going to heal Yasharal. The humble. Let's see who this is for. It is for the ruach of the humble and the heart of the contrite ones. This is what the remnant is going to be like. Okay? Continue.
But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, says my allure to the wicked.
Okay. So those who trust in vanity will inevitably be in iniquity. Let us just put that plain and straight. Those of us, for example, who are in Babylon, trusting in our riches, trusting in our wealth, trusting in what we have, we will inevitably be in iniquity as long as you trust in vanity. Isaiah 59 verses 1, 2, 4. Read, please.
Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your allure, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear.
So this is the same thing that we just read a while ago, that he will not hear us in our righteousness. Continue.
For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth.
They
trust
trust
in
in
vanity
vanity and speak lies.
They
They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. So, if we trust in vanity, we are going to speak lies, inevitably. We are going to conceive mischief, inevitably. And we are going to bring forth iniquity, inevitably. Why is this significant? It makes us understand why the Most High says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. And that is why we have said, and it has been our experience, that you cannot be righteous in Babylon. Because all of these things will come as a result of vanity. Lies. And he says, whoever loveth and maketh a lie cannot enter his kingdom. Mischief. Iniquity. Hamashiach says, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity, when he comes. So these have no lot nor part with the Most High. As long as we are vain, we are going to be in iniquity. So that is why the Most High told us in 1 John 2, 15 to 17, that we should know by heart. 1 John 2, what is 1 John 2, 15 to 17? 1 John 2, 15 to 17. Go ahead.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
All right. This is a thing that we take for granted. If we love the world, the love of the Father is not in us. So are we willing to give up our vanity? That's the question. Continue.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Lust of the flesh, vanity. Lust of the eyes, vanity. Pride of life, vanity. Is not of the Father, but is of the world. Verse 17.
And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Elohim abideth forever.
All right. So, what is the factory of vanity? Where is the factory of vanity? Babylon. The factory of vanity. Revelations 18, 9 to, we'll just probably read just a few verses. Babylon, the factory of vanity. Revelation 18, 9.
And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication, and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her their merchandise any more.
All right, let's hear vanity now. Vanity, go.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thyine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon, and odours and ointments, and frankincense and wine, and oil and fine flour and wheat, and beasts and sheep, and horses and chariots, and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all.
This is Babylon here. Vanity. The factory of vanity. And if you think about any big city, you think about all of these things. Everywhere you can find all of these things. All the dainty things, everything that your soul lusted after, you can find it in Babylon. Verse 15.
The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her,
Vanity. Continue.
shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen
Vanity.
and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold
Vanity.
and precious stones and pearls.
Vanity.
For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they
Continue.
cast dust upon their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness.
Vanity.
For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
Vanity. This is the sieve of vanity. It is going to be the choice between the riches and comforts of Babylon and whether or not we are willing to give it up to seek after the Most High. That's the sieve of vanity. And this is something that people are battling with. I know at this time people have been battling with for some time. Continue.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye set apart apostles and prophets, for Allure hath avenged you on her. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone.
Okay, before we go any further, rejoice, ye holy apostles and prophets, for Allure hath avenged you on her. So when Babylon is destroyed, it is the prophets and the apostles who will be avenged, which means that Babylon is actually the enemy of the set apart people of the Most High. Continue.
And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and of trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee.
All of this is the factory of vanity. Verse 22. Now, the sieve of vanity. Now, verse 23 there goes on to speak about sorcery. Read 23, please.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
By thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And the word sorceries there is from the Greek word pharmakia, which means medication or pharmacy. So they used a pharmaceutical to deceive the world. This Revelation 18:23 is speaking about that puncturing that people went through, the mark of the beast, deception that came upon the earth. This is Revelation 18:23, and we have different videos for those who are new to us, different videos that go into that were made during that time that showed the mark of the beast, sorcery, pharmaceutical that they gave to people. So sorcery kickstarted the great sieve of vanity. And during that time, it was vanity that was the deciding factor, because many people made decisions to take that liquid in their bodies because they had to work, because they had to travel, because they had they would lose their job. They were foreseeing a world in which if you don't have it, you cannot participate in their work system. Everything to do with vanity. I have to pay my mortgage. I have to pay for my car. I have to this. I have to work. All of that. That was the sieve of vanity. And that is what divided the people of the Most High. Now, it is the first seal of the book of Revelation, and of course, we have videos on on the seals. Revelation 6 1 to 2. We won't go into it in detail, but let's just mention it here. This is Revelation 6 1 to 2.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
All right. So to unravel this, you just need to go at the etymology of crown. And the etymology of crown is the word corona. And if you go in Spanish or look in a Spanish Bible, you will see, I think it's la corona is the word for crown. So that white horse, white, the color of the medical field of the pharmaceutical industry. And he had a bow, he had a weapon that had no arrow. And that arrow there was the puncturing instrument. And you go into the etymology and the meanings of the word, you get more out of it, but we have done it on a video, so we won't do it. So this, of course, to let us know, we have to let us know that we are in that time of the sieve of vanity. So that is why the call is to flee out of the midst of Babylon at this time. Why? Because of the time of vanity that is upon us. It is a test of vanity that we are going through. Are we willing to give up the vain things? Okay? All right, so the mark of the beast, sorcery, buying and selling, the end of the age of the sieve of vanity. Now, when those people gave us that thing to put in our bodies, one of the things people were saying, oh, and laughing, hey, this is not the mark of the beast, because I'm still buying and I'm still selling. It was so ridiculous to me. Because I told them, you're still buying and selling. Everything happens in phases. Edomites have a term that Rome was not built in a day. They were building their system. And seeing the patent of the delivery system and knowing that this is a weapon, but it's also a device that they're putting in you in liquid form. These people, their technology is so great. And the Most High, for some reason, led me to understand the technology from long before they came with this. And I knew what they were capable of doing with a liquid. And I was trying to tell people that what is happening, it is that they are going to lay it out first. Then they are going to set up their system further on. They're going to tell you that you cannot buy or sell without it. Now, what do we think is happening in this earth? What do we think is happening on this earth? Let me get up there. What do we think is happening on this earth? They are setting up their digital currency system. The mark of the beast system is going to be based on their digital currency. The digital currency has to be set up and actually running before they can tell you cannot buy or sell, because they're going to transfer it from, when you have cash now, you have cash in your hand, they have no control over the cash that you have. Yeah? The only control they can have is when you go to the bank, they jam up the system and you cannot get the money. But as long as you have money in your hand, they cannot stop you from buying and selling. So when they delivered that liquid in the body, the system of cash was in place. So they cannot stop you as long as you have your cash. They could lock down the banks, but you have your money stored up at home under your mattress, as some people do. And they can still spend. But with the digital system, it's going to be personal. It's going to be personal. You cannot take a person's digital thing and make it, and eventually you will not be able to transfer it. It will be yours, and they will have system in place to prohibit you from doing certain spending. The sieve of vanity, people, to prevent you from doing certain things. They are going to control the amount of money you can spend. They are going to be able to make decisions that, okay, you want a car, and they're going to say, that car is too fast for you, or that car has too much emissions, that car is so much, and they lock your account. No matter where you go, you cannot buy it. That's what they're going to do. This is the buying and selling part. And what is going to happen? That thing that they put inside of you, they are going to use it as a determinant of whether you can buy or sell. Those who have that thing will be able to receive a number, and they will be able to buy and sell. Those who are not are going to be told you will have to get that thing before you can partake. That is where the buying and selling comes in. This is not there as yet. This is a sieve of vanity. It's a vast thing. It is vanity that is going to determine our salvation. And by the way, what caused the fall of man? Vanity. Genesis 3, verse 6. Genesis 3, verse 6. Let's see what caused the fall of man. Go ahead, please.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her,
And he did eat. Pleasant to the eyes, lust of the eyes. Good for food, lust of the flesh. A food to make one wise, pride of life. This is what caused the first sin. Vanity again is going to divide us in the end. Because remember, we have to go back to Adam. Women have to go back to Chwa. If a man does not have his wife under subjection, a man would have failed the test of Adam. If a woman is not under subjection to her husband, she would have failed the test of Eve. Everything is going back to that first incident that happened. And this is what is going to judge us in the end. Let's go back. So, they're setting up their bricks system. Bricks meaning a building. You build building with bricks. So they are building the New World Order with a rival set of people, rival system to NATO. The Babylonian-led United States has led the world for some time now. There is now no need for the United States because the United States was there and is there as a terminator to make sure every nation falls in line. Now, every nation has fallen in line because every nation is now a part of the United Nations Agenda 20, whatever. So because they're all a part of it, there's no need for a terminator really to put people in line. Everyone is in line. So there's no need now for the United States. And the United States dollar has been the currency that has held up the world. They need to get rid of that currency. So they are building up a rival system that will topple the king that was there, the United States, and therefore set up a new world order under the BRICS leading nations. Yeah? So they're going to have more pandemics. They're going to have more lockdowns. They're going to have digital currency, and they're going to have more puncturing of the bodies of our people. It's a really sad future that is coming. But the only thing is that the Most High is giving us, delivering his people, and bringing us to Mount Zion. The question is, are we willing to follow his promises and to trust in his promises? All right? So, mark of the beast, sorcery, buying and selling, the end of the age of the sieve of vanity. Revelation 13:16.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
And by the way, we have a video. What does it mean to take a mark in your right hand or in your forehead? You can check that out as well. That we did a couple of years ago. Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
All right, so this is to come. So the first part, cause it all to small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. There's a reason they separated it in two verses. The Most High made them separated because it's two different times. First, the mark, and then the prohibition of buying and selling comes after. Revelation 19:20. This is a deception that is upon the earth as the Most High sifts the world with the sieve of vanity. Verse 20.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that had worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
They were deceived by Hasatan and his workers. What does it say in Revelation 12, verse, what is it about? 9 or thereabout? Revelation 12, verse 9. Read it, please.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
And this is what we want to know. The dragon which deceiveth the whole world. And we have a video that we did a couple of weeks ago about the dragon. It wasn't a Shabbat teaching about the dragon, somebody getting a dream about the dragon. Very important that these videos and these revelations are coming at this time. No coincidence that everything is fitting together. Okay? So, the sift of vanity. We spoke about the first seal. That was the CV, that sickness that was upon the earth. The next three seals will test the vein to the max. The vein will be tested to the maximum by the next three seals, and I'll just summarize them. You can go and read them for yourself. The second seal is the red horse that will take peace from the earth. That is war, world war. The sieve of vanity. The place will be in turmoil. It will be crazy. The third seal, the black horse, that is financial collapse. The sieve of vanity. All right? You can read those yourself. So, 2nd Ezra 16, and this is a long one, will tell us what is coming on the world, in this sieve of vanity. What is going to take place during this sifting of the nations with the sieve of vanity. What did I say? 2nd Ezra what?
16, verse 1 to a lot. 53.
2nd Ezra 16. It is very profound. I didn't know which verse to take out. As I tried to skip a verse, I see something profound pop up. Let's see. 2nd Ezra 16. This is the sieve of vanity now. Read, please.
Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
All right, so here are the nations that is speaking about. Sometimes I wonder what if that place is really called Syria. Syria is mentioned so much. And what is that place really Syria? Woe unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Is Asia referring to places like China and India? Although we know in the scripture Asia kind of refers to somewhere around Turkey. But is it prophetically? Because Babylon and Asia, and we know Babylon and Asia are the ones that are giving the problems in this world. Continue.
Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
All right, so we have sword, war, fire, and we have plagues in the time of the sieve of vanity. Verse 8.
The mighty Yahuwah sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid?
All right, so we're going to skip out some parts of it. I suggest you read it for yourself. All right? Verse 16.
Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again.
And what are we hearing about these plagues now? We're hearing about these plagues. They're saying we're hearing that there are some deadly sicknesses that are coming. Deadly that are coming. And one of them, you even hear it'll eat out your brain and
Messing with the Most High, trying to play God.
no, but here's how it does it. The Most High allows them to do it in order to achieve His will. That's why they gave they came up with this CV thing. But the Most High allowed them because it's in His prophecy. The Most High is using them to perfect His people, to separate His people from those who will be rejected. That's it. So when His people see this, His people will turn to Him, but those who are the wicked are going to turn and stay with them. And so that is the division. Verse 17.
Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear.
Oh boy.
The beginning of evils.
Oh boy.
What shall I do when these evils shall come?
Oh boy. It's not a good look at all. Let's see what he spoke about the beginning of sorrows. Let's go to Matthew 24 to see the beginning of sorrows. Verse 6 of Matthew 24.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumours of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Oh boy. Continue.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
All these are the beginning
of sorrows.
Of sorrows. Let's go back to the beginning of sorrows in the book of 2nd Ezra. Verse 18. Read it again, please.
The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?
You see how many things will be packed up at once? Sorrows, great mournings, the beginning of famine, great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. Hey. I wonder if people doubt that we are in this time. I wonder if people really doubt that we are in this age. That CV19 and that mark of the beast thing will let you know. Abomination of desolation will actually let you know that you are in this time. Verse 19.
Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are set as scourges for amendment.
So the Most High tells you why He sent it. Famine and plague. So all the plagues that they are inventing, it is sent as scourges for amendment, for us to change. But will we change? The next verse.
But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges.
So they will just be wanting to make sure they avoid it. And this is why you have the maskers. You had the maskers, those people who live in masks. They went and they tried to preserve themselves. If they told them to take 20 of those things in their arms, they would have no hesitation to take it. None whatsoever. And then they wear the masks everywhere they go. Huh? They will not always be mindful of the scourges. Verse 21 is telling you what is going to happen. Verse 21.
Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
So things will still look good in the midst of all that is happening. The sieve of vanity it is. Notice it's talking about cheap money, the sieve of vanity. Verse 22.
For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine,
Mm-hmm.
and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Wow. So it's either the war, you escape from the hunger, the war gets you. Verse 23.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down.
So all of us who are waiting on our riches, are seeking to be comfortable in our riches, or seeking to, let's say, preserve our riches, the earth is going to be so wasted. Whatever we own is not going to be of any value, really. It's not going to be of any value or of any use. What is the sense me having thing in the midst of desolation where people are dead? So many people are dead. There isn't even enough people to bury them, and so few people are alive. What am I gonna do with what I have?
What use you have a house and a car and then it get blown up by bombs
Exactly, and fire.
and fire, and the banks will be gone at that time.
You,
Where
all
you get
right.
money?
As you talk about bank, look how easy it is for an economy to collapse. Look at the 2008, the housing market.
And they're hiding this one. This one, it's about to collapse.
Yeah,
And they're still hiding it.
yeah. They're hiding it until the right time. When it unleashes, it is going to be a point of no return for the world. It's going to be so terrible. Yeah? Because they said that the same, more powerful things than what happened in 2008 are around.
People just couldn't pay their mortgage at that time and the economy collapsed. So, how now went with the CV thing and the entire world lockdown, people couldn't pay mortgage, car loan, a lot of other stuff.
And it still stayed
And it still
afloat.
stayed afloat for 2 years. Wow.
Impossible. They propped it up, waiting for the right time. And the right time is when the dollar is collapsed and they bring in their digital currency. Continue, verse 23.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it.
Not even farmers. So where's the food going to come from? Continue.
The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The
So
grapes.
So the fruit are going to be growing, but there will be no man to gather them. What sense is it now, me having wealth among all of this? Wealth is based on relative value, yeah? So, for example, if the land is a very prosperous land, then the land is going to have more value than a land that is in a place with briars and thorns. It's as easy as that, simple as that. So, when I am somewhere, nobody there together, who is going to be, what value is what I have going to be? Continue.
The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? for all places shall be desolate of men,
Mm-hmm.
so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left,
Mm.
and 2 of the field,
Mm.
which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks.
So it's gonna be so dangerous. Because everyone now will have to survive. No food, no nothing. Every man will be another man's enemy. Oh boy. Verse 29.
As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through.
Wow. Huh?
So even the asphalt would grow
Grow
over
over with grass. Yeah. Continue.
The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers.
Wow. So this now brings us to Isaiah chapter 4. So the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. So the Most High is going to get rid of all the unrighteous people, even the unrighteous of the children of Yasharal. So this is why in Isaiah chapter 3, when it tells you about the read verse 1. This is what he's gonna do with Jerusalem and with the rest of the world.
For behold, Yahuwah Sabaoth, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honourable man, and the counsellor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator.
All right, so this is when Jerusalem falls apart. Okay, let me get down to, when it falls apart. Let me see what else happens when it falls apart. Where is it again? Read verse 8.
For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahuwah, to provoke the eyes of his splendor.
So when that happens, verse 16, the daughters of Zion will actually be very lewd and outrageous. And we're going to see the same thing with the man of war dying. His people will die by the sword. The men of Jerusalem will also die by the sword. Read please.
Moreover, Yahuwah said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore Yahuwah will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahuwah will discover their secret parts.
All right, so they will be vain. The other verse is telling you about how vain they will be. Yes? And then the Most High will do this, verse 24.
And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle a rent, and instead of well set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher or stomacher a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war.
In the war. The war. This war that we are talking about in book of 2nd Esdras. The men of Yasharal shall fall in the war. In the war. Verse 26. This
And,
happened. This happened before. It's going to happen again.
and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground.
And therefore, now we get to chapter 4, which tells us what will happen.
And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach.
So it's the righteous men that will remain, and the women who have no husbands, then they will seek to be called by the name of the men to take away their reproach, because it is a man, a righteous man, that covers a woman. And many people use this and take this to satisfy their desire to have multiple wives. This is speaking about this particular moment in time when the Most High rebuilds Yasharal with the righteous men. It is not speaking about now. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras. Read verse 33 again.
The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
That's it. All right, so let's go down to let's talk about the plagues, yeah. Verse 37.
Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack.
Mm-hmm.
As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment.
Even so
shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the
world
world shall mourn, and
and
sorrows shall come upon it on every side.
Whoa, boy. Continue.
And my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils
be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So this time now, when we have to be willing now to be pilgrims, to not own anything, to not have anything, to not even to be nobodies in this earth, to be strangers, strange places. Eh?
That's what it set up further.
What?
Ready for battle also.
Really?
What is set up further?
Ready for battle. Where is it again? Yes.
Pilgrims.
Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims. I think this battle is not actually a physical battle. It is a battle against all of this that is coming up. And in all of this that is coming up, we have to be ready to be pilgrims upon the earth. And it begins with the call to flee out of Babylon. Be willing to be pilgrims upon the earth. Now here we go now, the sieve of vanity. Remember, that's what we're looking at. The sieve of vanity. Verse 41.
He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away.
Stop. If we're playing a record back in the world, he does.
Scratch this one.
Yeah, man, I'll pull it up. Hey! He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away.
What could that mean?
Eh?
What could that mean?
You have your thing in Babylon going on. You'd have to just really willing to just leave it. Just drop everything and just now let's go.
Run left your business, run left house car.
Yes.
Flee.
So you have set up a business and you have your things invested. Things going on for it. Doing well. Leave it and flee Babylon. And he that buyeth as one that will
Lose.
So you're buying and you don't care about that which you bought. You bought it and it cost you a whole lot of money. Like some people in Babylon, they might just have bought a car. I just bought my house. I just bought a car. I just refurbished my house. I just did this. It says, as one that will lose. You have to be willing to just drop it and just leave right away. Verse 42.
He that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein.
You have to be willing to lose. Yeah? Nothing to do with vanity, we must actually take to heart. This is a sieve of vanity. All of these things, no doubt, are going to trap us and to make us think twice. Should I do this? Should I do that? Some people are waiting to accumulate a whole lot of money before they leave because they don't want to go outside their comfort zone. Remember, we must not stay on those who smote us, on our oppressors, because we have had success in their system or something. We must stay on Yahuwah. Let Yahuwah provide for you. Verse 43.
He that soweth, as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes.
That's it. Amakai. Amakai is a great story. Amakai keeps planting. And every time Amakai plants, the Most High just moves him before he reaps. Amakai, this is you. You're living scripture.
And then the people showing pictures, WhatsApp pictures.
Yes?
Of what beer.
Of what beer? And they're enjoying it.
Yes.
Yes. Oh boy. That's how it is. I partook of that one in Jamaica. Man, it's so many days, months of work on the farm. And then the Most High just takes you away. And nothing to enjoy. Yeah? Yeah. Verse 44.
They that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers.
You see this one here? Now was the time, not the time, to worry about marriage and about children. Yeah? Now is the time to focus on the time that is at hand. Yeah. So, they that marry as they that shall get no children. Is that even sexual intercourse should be high on our agenda? That's what it's saying. And that is how you have children, isn't it? And verse 45 says,
And therefore they that labour, labour in vain.
Say it again, please.
And therefore they that labour, labour in vain.
So those people in Babylon who are laboring, it's saying the labor is in vain because of what is coming upon the earth. Verse 46.
For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods.
So all the thing that we are thinking about in Babylon, this vanity that we are thinking about in Babylon, the Most High is telling you that when this thing comes upon the earth, all that you have, the Most High is going to allow strangers to spoil it. Why? Because you trusted in your vanity. So there'll be no protection for it. Read 46, please.
For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children.
Mm-hmm.
And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more I will be angry with them for their sin, says Yahuwah.
So the Most High is saying that he will be watching this vanity. And the more those wicked of the earth that steal to enrich themselves, the more he will get angry. Verse 49.
Like as a whore envieth a right honest and virtuous woman, so shall the righteousness hate iniquity, when she decketh herself, and shall accuse her to her face. When he cometh, that shall defend him that diligently searcheth out every sin upon earth.
Continue.
And therefore be ye not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you.
Continue.
Let not the sinner say that he hath not sinned, for Allure shall burn coals of fire upon his head, which saith before Yahuwah Allure and his splendor, I have not sinned.
All right. Go to 62 to 67 now. 62 to 67.
Yea, and the Ruach of Almighty Allure, which made all things and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions, and what ye think in your hearts, even them that sin and would hide their sin.
Therefore
hath Yahuwah
exactly search out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. So this is why sifting the nations with the sieve of vanity, to search out all our works and to put those of us who are vain to a great shame. Okay? Oh boy. Now, to overcome all this, how do we overcome this vanity? The old man is programmed for vanity. Remember, we were nurtured, we were grown, we were raised in Babylon, in their Babylonian system. So if we are the same persons that we were, we are going to be stained by the system. Ephesians 4:17 to 32. We have to put on the new man. We have to be new creatures. If any man be in Messiah, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Ephesians 4 verses 17.
This I say therefore, and testify in Yahusha, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
In the vanity of their mind. So we now as believers must not be walking in vanity in our minds. Verse 18.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Allure through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
So if we are walking in vanity, our understanding will be darkened. We will not be in light. And we'll be alienated from the life of Allure, because we will have ignorance in us, because our hearts will be blinded going after vanity. Verse 19.
Who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness.
Uncleanness with greediness. So when we're vain, uncleanness is going to be added to our greediness. Continue.
But ye have not so learned Hamashiach. If so be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahusha.
All right, so let's see the truth, and let's see what we must do to overcome this vanity that is in us.
That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man,
which is corrupt
according to the deceitful lusts.
So that's why you have to come out of Babylon, people, the midst of Babylon, because the old man is corrupt. And that is how we were raised. We were raised in their corruption. We were raised in their religions, in their schools, in their cities, in their towns, in their socializing. We were raised corrupted by the Babylonian system. Verse 23.
And be renewed in the ruach of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after Allure is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbour, for we are members one of another. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labour, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister favour unto the hearers.
Continue.
And grieve not the Ruach HaKadosh of Allure, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamour and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Alua for Mashiach's sake hath forgiven you.
Wow, these few verses need real studying. Bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, evil speaking, malice, kindness, tender-heartedness, forgiveness. All of these things, walking in all these things will mean we'll be walking in perfection. So the vanity of our minds will be thrown away and we'll be walking in righteousness. All right, so we'll come to our penultimate topic. False prophets and teachers will try to lead us back into vanity. False prophets and teachers will try to lead us into vanity. If you are listening to someone who is teaching and speaking to you about vain things, about vanity, please run. There shall be no true teacher in this end time teaching people about vanity at this time. Please run. 2 Peter 2 verse 18.
For when they speak
Hold
great...
on, please. Why you're fast today? You're fast today, George. 2 Peter 2 what? 18.
2 verse 18.
Yeah, go ahead.
For when they speak great swelling words of vanity,
They allure you
through the
lust of the flesh.
of the flesh.
So when they speak words of vanity, when you hear vain things, then it will be like a magnet to you. It will be like a magnet to you through the lust of the flesh. So when you hear vain things, it's going to stir up the flesh. So for example, somebody come and tells you, I've had a dream and I see a 2023 BMW, a silver BMW.
That's me.
Guess what's going to happen? Yeah. Your flesh is going to start looking in that BMW and like, whoa, that's mine? What do you say? I claim it in the name of JC. That's what they say, right, Yazzie? You have more recent experience with that thing. With that Christian thing that I do. They claim it. So they allure you,
Next year is your year.
Yes, man, next year.
Prosperity.
So they tell them like December 31st.
Yeah.
They tell them that next year is their year. So they allure them. Shalom.
Hello.
They allure them through the lust of the flesh. So when we hear vanity, when we hear something that is vain, it stirs up our flesh and attracts us to desire that thing that is vain. Okay? And it says, through much wantonness. Through much wantonness. The word wantonness is from the Greek word aselgia, which means filthy, lasciviousness. So it is a strong desire for the things that we lust after. Notice who it says its target. When they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through wantonness, those that were clean escaped from them who live in error. These are those believers who came into the way of truth. There are going to be false teachers now who are going to try to bring them back into the lusts of where they are coming from. Verse 19.
While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
So you just need to go to Christianity again, to the pastors. They promise them freedom, but they are the servants of corruption. All they're interested in is the money. So they promise their followers freedom. Say, hey, you follow JC and you are saved. But they themselves are the servants of corruption. Because of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. And Shaul said it in another place. He says, to whom you obey, his servants you are to whom you obey. whether of sin unto death or obedience unto righteousness. So if we are obedient, then we will be led into righteousness. If we disobey, are disobedient, then we will be led by sin. It's the same thing here. Of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought into bondage. So no matter how I am there saying that I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, I'm a whatever, if I am bringing vanity to people, then I am also the servant of corruption. Verse 20.
For if, after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, through the knowledge of the Master and Saviour Yahushua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
So it had been better they had not known about Hamashiach, rather than to have known him and allowed false teachers to come and pull them back into the lusts of their minds, back into vanity. Okay? So this is the sieve of vanity. We have to stay away from those things that are vain. Verse 22, to cap that one off.
But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
So when we are in the truth, there will always be people who will be trying to bring us into unrighteousness, following the lust of our minds, and trying to bring us away from the Most High and into the path of vanity. Okay? So let's look at Yahusha now. We're going to be finishing this off. The warnings against drunkenness. Remember, it is drunkenness, complacency, drunkenness that is going to bring us to the point of our error. So let's look at some warnings now against this error coming from Hamashiach himself. Matthew 24, 43 to 51. Matthew 24, 43 to 51. Warnings against us slipping up and becoming vain. Go ahead, please.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master hath made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season?
Hamashiach is going to tell us here that we must always be ready, never slack off, never fall into vanity, always be ready. Verse 46.
Blessed is that servant whom his master, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Truly I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But, and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my master delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken.
Drunkenness.
The master of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, we get complacent now. We have been hearing that Hamashiach is coming from we were born. And then we see the signs and things happening in the world. We see the end of the age. And then we start to think, you know what? Let me get and enjoy some stuff in this world. Become drunken. Not with wine. Drunken with the ways of the world. Hamashiach says he's going to come as a surprise to us. And let me tell you something how Hamashiach comes sometimes. We are waiting on Hamashiach to physically come. That coming can also be death. He comes for us when we least expect. That's what death does. We never know when death is going to come. So we always have to be prepared. Always have to be ready. And he says, he shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The sieve of vanity. People, we cannot allow vanity to pull us away from the true way. And here's another one again. We are at Lucas 21:34-36. We should know this by heart. Luke 21:34-36. We'd use this almost every single week. Which one is that? Which one is that? Let's go.
And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares.
For as a snare.
For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
All right. So whatever is happening, whatever is coming will come like a snare. It will come like that. In an instant. Lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting. Surfeiting there is excess. This is when we are chasing after things that we don't need, but things that we want. Things that we lust after. Yeah? So these are the shiny objects that we don't need. We have something and we say, okay, we need a more updated one. And we go out and our whole life is focused on excess, things we actually do not need. And drunkenness, and we know drunkenness is being caught up in the system, the way the system runs, the system works, what they tell us to do, what everyone else does. You are partaking in the cares of this world. And the cares of this life, again, deals with vanity, the things that keep us successful and comfortable in this world. And many people, we have to pay our mortgage, we have to pay our bills, we have to this, we have to that. And so we get so distracted from the word, which is why the Most High tells us to flee out of the midst of Babylon. We are to stay away from the heart of the system. Because it says as a snare. And in verse 36, he advises us in verse 36 again.
Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
So this, even fleeing out of the midst of Babylon, is a worthiness. We have to be worthy to flee. We have to be worthy. Not everyone can. They will have the heart or have the mind, but the Most High will not. Is the one who gives us the ticket, not the literal ticket, but the ticket to flee comes from the Most High. We must be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are coming upon the earth. And so let us end here with the Apostle Shaul. 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 to 11. 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 to 11.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahuwah so cometh as a thief in the night.
That's the same thing Hamashiach was just speaking about. As a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell upon the face of the earth. The day of Yahuwah. Continue.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child,
and they shall not escape. Now, as we've said before here, isn't it ironic that the United Nations, which is the heart of evil on this earth, Psalms 83, conspiracy of nations who conspire to hide the Most High's people and to hide the Most High through that organization. Isn't it ironic that, was it a year ago, a little over a year ago, around a year ago, they set up a statue outside of the United Nations and called it United Nations Sculpture of Peace and Security. How ironic is it? And how ironic is it that that sculpture is in the same beast that is in the Bible in Revelation 13. Let's go to Revelation 13 and let's see the beast that they put out of the United Nations. People, we are at the end of the age, and the wicked are even taunting us, mocking us, telling us at the times that we are in, and we still cannot see it. From verse 1 to verse 2.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
So these 7 heads are the G7 nations today. These are the nations that rule the world, and these are the nations that rule the United Nations. Okay? United States, Great Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. These 7 nations are the 7 heads of this beast here. And this is what they posted, they put the sculpture. This is what it was comprised of outside the United Nations. You can go and Google United Nations sculpture of peace and security and you will see it. Verse 2.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
That's it. That's the United Nations. The dragon gave him his seat because all of these animals here bear the likelihood that comes from the book of Daniel, the different kingdoms that were upon this earth before, and all of them have joined themselves back together in the United Nations. And they put up this peace and safety thing. So what are they mocking us? What are they saying? They are telling us that we are actually in the time when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come. Because when they took us through this pandemic thingy, many people in the world were saying, when will this thing end? When will this thing end? And they locked us down and they did all sorts of things with us. And then they gave us a time of peace and safety. And we were there deceptively thinking that it's going to last forever. We knew it wasn't going to last forever. It was only a matter of time. And so now they are coming back with their foolishness once again. Sudden destruction is going to come. Verse 3, 1 Thessalonians 5.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
All right, but for us, verse 4.
But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief.
Mm-hmm.
Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day.
day.
We are not of the night, nor
Nor
of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others,
do.
but let us watch and be sober.
Watch and be sober. So when you are watching, vanity will be the least of your troubles. Yes? You will not be caring about vain things. Verse 7.
For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be
drunken
drunken are drunken in the night.
Continue.
But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. For Allure has not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Wherefore comfort yourselves together, and edify one another, even as also ye do.
All right. So that is it. The sifting of the nations with the sieve of vanity. Coming soon to this world, the sieve of vanity. It's not going to be pretty. As they set out to set up their digital currency system, it's going to be a painful thing because they have to collapse the system that is there before. It's a must. It's not going to coexist. Which is why you see so many nations are ditching the dollar. You see BRICS setting up, and how many nations are lining up wanting to be part of the BRICS system because they know that the dollar is dead. And they know that they are going to abandon and drop the dollar. And they know that the world is going to be plunging into chaos because they know how these Satanists rule. Their thing is order out of chaos. They have to create chaos and then they come up and step in and set up their form of order. Okay? So we have not much time to go, 24 minutes. Let's see if there are any questions on YouTube. Where is the chat? Man, I'm not seeing the chat. The chat is on YouTube? Huh? All right, let me go there. If you have any questions on YouTube, just please leave it in the chat and let's see if we can answer it. Where are we? Okay. All right. Okay. Please leave your questions. All right. Da-da-da. Wow. Hazel was. I see some deleted messages here. Let me see. Oh. Oh, it seems like a little child was playing with Hazel's thing. Oh. Ah, Shabbat Shalom, Armstrong. All right, so let me just give a shout out to those who are there. Radcliffe Butler. It seems that the chat was cut off. Part of it was cut off. Radcliffe Butler. What's that? Lanny Moonface. Brian Bino. Ona Lena. Where are you, Ona? Elisheba. Hazel. My Sultry Sounds, the moderator. Donald Dunn, Shabbat Shalom. John 14:15. He said, so many people still deceived about the harm in the arm, saying it's just a precursor. Yes, many of them have been deceived. Satan has deceived the whole world. Remember, it says, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. It's going to be a great deception. We have Mike Norwood, Shabbat Shalom. Anthony Osborne, Shabbat Shalom. Aidan Miller, yeah, is my light. Who is that? Joshua Riggs. The chapters and writings are very cloudy. You cannot see the writings on the screen. Oh, I don't know. It looks clear. I don't know. Anthony Osborne says, so Rasta has something going on for them because they are the first in Jamaica to speak about fleeing Babylon into the mountains. Yeah, they had something for them, but I guess it was, huh? Yeah, they went off worshipping a man, Selassie, highly Selassie as the Most High. My sultry sound says Rastas have fled Babylon to no avail, while they continue to live in idolatry, worshipping highly Selassie as their God, and defile their bodies, smoking weed, etc. Yeah. Brian Bono says, grieve not the Rock HaKadosh of Alua. Wow. Let me go back to it. And grieve not the rock where with you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Where's that again? Let me go there. Grieve not the rock. Oh, Ephesians 4:30. Grieve not the rock HaKadosh or Holy Spirit of Alua, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Now, the word grieve there is to distress, to cause grief, to be in heaviness, to sorrow, to make sorry. How can we grieve the Ruach? And we looked at it last week. Wasn't it last week we looked at blasphemy of the Ruach? Last week's teaching covers everything to do with this. Brian Bino, grieving the Ruach. Of course, we can blaspheme the Ruach. We can reject the Ruach. We can quench the Ruach. All of those things will be grieving the Ruach. Hmm. All right, so we have Pauline Wallace. Great teaching, all praise to the Most High, all praises to the Most High. Not all Rastaman worship Selassie as the Most High. Some know he's not the creator. Yes, I know some of them are like that, but some of them, they still have him highly rated as the Messiah or something like that, putting him out of place. Out of place. All right. Let me see. Where are we? I shall know the truth. Katrina Dockery. Wow. This person said it made me feel helpless since I heard by getting the puncture to travel to see my children. Wow. We have a video. Ezekiel 13. Search our videos for Ezekiel 13. You should watch that one, Brian. Ezekiel 13. Yeah. For those who took the puncture. Person says, I would love to go to South Africa. How do I get in contact with you? If you want to get in contact with us, go onto our website, one of our website, and leave a message in the message box. I'll put the websites here. And then you can contact us through the message box. All right, those two. Pauline Wallace, which day the Feast of Trumpet begins? And that's a very important question because we need to do, probably need to do a teaching on the days of the feast because we have been given enlightenment and we believe that the actual year begins from the southern hemisphere, not from the northern hemisphere. And what we have found so far shows us that these people who say they are Jews and are not, who actually keep a northern hemisphere feast, what we have found out shows that they know that the southern hemisphere is where the year begins because they have 2 New Years. Can you imagine? Why would these people have 2? You know that they have 2 New Years. One in March and one in September. September is when the year begins. Yeah. Yeah. They know that the year starts in September. But because they're in the northern hemisphere and they told the lie that they are the Jews, they have to let their calendar correlate with the northern hemisphere calendar. All right? And Brian Bino asked, so the trumpets, we are not at trumpets, we are speaking about the Passover. And so for us, the year actually begins, is it the 16th on the new moon of the first new moon in September, which will be the 16th of September. And Passover would be the 29th of September, which is the 14th, which is a full moon. And in the book of, is it Sirach that tells you with the moon is a sign of the feast? We're going to look into it and to see how everything matches up. Everything actually matches up with what the scripture says. All right, so, and the question, do you celebrate new moon? Yes, we do celebrate the new moon. For us, the new moon is something similar to a Shabbat, except that we cook on the new moon, but we don't buy nor sell on the new moon day. So the new moon, of course, and we're going to show as well in the book of Chanuk, the new moon day is what we celebrate. So the new moon, when the moon is at its darkest, but the new moon day is the next day when the moon has 1/7, 1/14, gets 1/14 of its light, which is when it will be new. It will start to power up again. Pauline Wallace, as I said, you can send us a message. As I said to Dockery, send us a message through our websites. Our websites are there in the message, in the chat. Okay? Please do a teaching on the feast days. Man, John 14, 15, where were you? We have been doing this for years. Yeah. Yeah, the new moon is when it's the day after the dark moon. The day after. So when the moon is at its darkest, the next day is when it is new. Okay? So the new moon, when was the new moon again this month? The new moon next month will be the new moon, the dark moon will be the 15th. New moon day, which would be the first day of the year, would be the 16th, the next day. Okay, so no more questions. We have been here for a while, 12 minutes to go until 6 o'clock. So, can we ask you please to like if you like? I see only 24 likes. Can you like if you like? We have what, 44 people watching now. Could you please like if you like? And leave a comment as well. Comments are very important. All right, some people will go read the comments. The algorithm of Google actually gives credit for comments. All right. All right. So excellent study. All praises to the Most High. Thank you all for being here with us. All right. Let me get back to. Yeah. So we looked at today, will you survive the Sieve of Vanity? Thank you all for being here with us. And remember our website, just a word, .org, our main website, our radio, online radio, 24/7 online radio, jawradio.org, JAWRADIO.org. Our video website, just a word, .tv, and our podcast, Bible Truth Revealed Podcast at jawpodcast.com. These are places where you can get all the info that we have here today and more. And thank you all, and please share, like, comment, and until next time, shalom. Well,
16th of September, is it?
yeah,
September 16th.
yeah. Where am I again?